Welcome back everybody to the Tony Ferguson vs Donald Cerrone recap video. Unfortunately, the fight ended in a way that nobody really wanted it to. We had Cowboy Cerrone, who had already a swollen eye, that went ahead and blew his nose, which in result ended up his swollen eye to swell up even quicker. Now, what took place in the fight we can sum up in a couple of ways. We had obviously immediately Tony Ferguson establishing early dominance. By immediately coming forward, he did not give Donald Cerrone the room to be able to get in his own groove where he likes to throw kicks, jab him, and have the fight be playing out in the middle of the octagon. What immediately was pretty obvious was the fact that Tony Ferguson was the guy that was always able to get in. He was very quick to get in, and he was also very quick to get out. However, he wasn't really able to do this consistently. The times that Tony Ferguson entered, he usually overstayed his welcome, and that was the moment where Tony Ferguson was in range to get countered by Donald Cerrone. Donald was able to hit Tony Ferguson very often. However, most of the shots that he was able to land, they did not really have the biggest of sting. Ferguson was able to take these shots and still put out the pressure, still come forward, really still dig at Donald Cerrone's body. Now, both of these guys, they really had a lot of target, and they both were able to hit one another very consistently throughout the entire fight. It was only Tony Ferguson who was able to really take but also give out right away. He was a fighter that had the immediate responses, the immediate counters, the immediate strategy change to get himself a victory. Now, throughout the fight, you could see Tony Ferguson going to the body, teep kick. These all added up, and by the second round, we really saw Tony Ferguson being the guy that would outwork him, and Donald Cerrone was just on a decline very heavily. This was a great fight and great performances by both fighters. We had Donald Cerrone, who was able to capitalize from Tony Ferguson's aggressive nature of always coming forward, putting the pressure on you. He was able to attack him quite often, but credit to where it's due, Tony Ferguson, he understood that this was the way to fight Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone, he usually struggles against fighters who would put the pressure on him, not give him any room to breathe, which would result in him not really ever getting a chance to get into the fight. And that is exactly what Tony Ferguson did. He was able to swell up Donald Cerrone's eye, and Cerrone ended up really shooting himself in the foot by blowing his nose and, making that eye swell up very fast. But in the end, it was a great, fun fight to watch. Both guys were able to hit one another very clean. And in the end, it was a great fight while it lasted. Ferguson, however, seems to be pretty bothered in the way that the fight ended, but you cannot really blame the guy. I think he really wanted to prove a point, which in the end, he was not really able to, but he did really just show that in the fight, he was able to get the better of the Donald Cerrone and really beat him down. Unfortunately, it wasn't a finish, but it is what it is. He still has his victory, and I do believe that this man is right now the next contender for the world title. He has to fight for the world title. I mean, if this guy is going to fight in another fight that is not for the world championship, I don't really know what is happening in the sport anymore. But anyways, guys, this is my quick reaction to the fight, my immediate breakdown of what happened. Leave what you guys thought of the fight in the comment section down below. As always, I've been Keenan from Keenan KTV, signing off. Later.